everyone. Welcome to our live. My name is Tlateto and I am the Sustainability Officer at Phoenix. And today we are excited to have Elma Smit join us. But I'll tell you more about that as soon as I've given you the numbers. So we are excited. We have recently dispersed to universities as Phoenix, and we are excited to give you the numbers. So we have dispersed a total of 728,665 rand to universities, and 112 students have been funded, which is exciting. And through CapTheGap, we have reached 373 students who have received food vouchers, laptops, and data vouchers. So we are excited. Hi, Legendary at SA. Hi, hello. And yes, I told you guys earlier that we would have Elma Smit join us for our Insta Live today. So I'm just going to add her. Elma is a radio DJ in the sports industry. She is an all-round amazing woman who is doing phenomenal things. And we're excited to have her. Hi, Elma. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Good, good. Good to have you on our Insta Live.
It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I was just telling everybody about the amazing things that you do, being a radio DJ, being in the sports industry, and just like being a Phoenix ambassador, and all-out amazing human being. So we're excited to have you, Elma, and once again, thank you for doing this Insta Live with us.
Well, thank you for saying such nice things to me. We'll clear shortly.
Okay, so we'll get straight into it. Elma, so you recently became one of our first Phoenix ambassadors, and you created a birthday campaign on the Phoenix platform. So please tell us more about that.
So I'm very passionate about education. It was something that I really had to work hard for myself, and I feel like it gave me such a step in the right direction, a big boost. And I think you reach an age, #30, where it becomes a bit less of a moment for you. It's really just a nice opportunity to see your friends and the people who make life worth living. And so I decided that I wanted to spread the love. I'm blessed to have a lot of stuff. I didn't want more things for my birthday. And so when I turned 30, I started pledging my birthdays to causes that I'm passionate about. Incidentally, for my 30th birthday, it was crowdfunding to help support students. And so it's something that I've kind of constantly come back to. And this year decided to do that again. And the great thing about the work that I do is that it affords me a bit of a platform. So last year, I worked on the Cricket World Cup for the ICC and on the Rugby World Rugby. And I've built a fantastic community of people who share my interests and my passions, but who are also clearly just great people with their hearts in the right place. Because then as soon as I started about this cause on my social media platforms, I started getting responses from all over the world. People saying, I help, I want to get stuck in. I'm not South African, but I support the notion that through education we can, get in the driver's seat of our destiny and change our lives. And so it was so heartwarming to see people get stuck in and support Phoenix in February this year when I turned 34.
#30. So that's really exciting, Elma. So we recently at Phoenix launched a campaign called #CapTheGap, where we're basically providing students with resources to bridge the digital divide that was created by COVID-19, because students obviously were sent home, away from campus, where they had all these resources that they could use. So we decided that we would try and assist postgraduate students and final year students so that they could have the resources they need. So we have a bit of a challenge for you.
Okay.
That's related to CapTheGap. So once you are done with that challenge, because we know you love challenges,
Yes.
once you're done with that challenge, then we'll just go into what it means to not have those resources. So what we're going to ask you to do is close your eyes, right? And then in the comment section, type CapTheGap challenge.
Okay. Oh my gosh. That is not even close.
You got challenge right. You got challenge right. But you see, so one of the reasons we created that challenge was to show people that sometimes you may have the ability to do something, so you want to do something, but if you don't have the resources, it becomes really, really difficult to actually do that. So that is part of why we have the CapTheGap challenge. And as much as it's exciting and it's funny, like when you type in the wrong thing, unfortunately, it's what a lot of students are currently facing because of lack of resources. So thank you for doing that challenge with us. And thank you, Nyasha. See, you got but you know, you missed that gap. Almost there. So we would just like to talk to you about it's Women's Month. So we're going into Women's Month here in South Africa. And I mentioned at the beginning the amazing things you're doing as a woman in South Africa. But also, we know that part of your journey has been in a very male dominant industry. And we just want to know, tell us about that. Tell us how the challenges that come with that, and also what advice you would give young women who are looking to go into predominantly male dominated industries.
I think the big thing is to back yourself. It's very easy to suffer from imposter syndrome when you look around you and you're the only person who looks like you in a room. So that obviously extends beyond gender to race as well. If you're the only South African in a predominantly, international production crew, like I was working last year, you also tend to sometimes feel like they must know something. They must have some secret sauce, that we in South Africa don't have. And I make a point of telling everyone this. I've worked in international environments on 2 massive tournaments, and I learned a lot from the experience, but effort is still the greatest guarantee. If you put in the work, get the results. You will see progress at the very least. So I want to say to women, but also people, anyone who feels like they're a minority going into a space where there hasn't been a lot of their own representation, that whatever category they identify with being a minority in, that you need to back yourself. But besides backing yourself, you need to do the work. And if you do the work, you will at least see yourself chipping away at at getting to the goal that you want to achieve. I am a believer of doing the research, putting in the hours, really preparing. Because if you do that, then a lot of own anxiety, at very least, is taken care of. And when you pitch up prepped to whatever the job is that you are tackling, if you pitch up prepped, it almost doesn't matter how much more talent someone else has. If you're in the work, you will be able to compete. You will be able to add value.
Definitely. I agree. I love that. You'll be able to add value. Alma, like one of the things that we love to ask our guests on our Insta lives is about their education journey. What that was like. So could you go into your tertiary education journey with us? Take us through that journey of yours.
Sorry, can you ask that question again? Sorry, something distracted
Um,
me.
no problem at all. Just about your education journey. What was that like? What was your like varsity journey like, in terms of resources and all of that?
So I studied law undergrad at the University of Stellenbosch, BA Law, and it was initially my parents could pay for my registration and pay for my rent, but then my dad had a small business, and as soon as times got tough, and especially when my sister also went to university, I started realizing that either I would have to take loan, and she took a loan, or I would have to work really hard. I wasn't feeling confident about being able to get a loan or pay back a loan. And so for me was that I had to find ways around finance and also get a BA law degree, which is a lot. And so I started turning my interests into money-making opportunities. I started working in radio. I started DJing. I tried modeling. I worked as a distributor for a magazine. I wrote a column in another magazine. I had loads of small jobs that all contributed to the bottom line in the end. Made massive sacrifices, but learned plenty of very valuable skills like multitasking, which is something that I'm still using to this day. But I also really had to lean on the support of my parents and my friends, not just not for cash, for other things. Helping me look for bursaries, helping me with notes, helping me to navigate being a student. I had to really rely on the university and the facilities they had available, because I couldn't afford having my own computer. I had to use the computer labs at university. I had to stay on top of news because I was working in radio, so I would go to the library and read the newspaper there, back when we still read newspapers. So there were some disciplined decisions that I had to take in order to get to where I needed to go. Because even though I was surrounded by students at Stellenbosch that had things a little easier, it doesn't mean me that there wasn't a way through this. I read a thing the other day about there being 3 ways into anywhere, like a club. Life is like a club, and there are 3 ways in. There's the VIP entrance, which a lot of people feel like everyone has the VIP entrance into life. Then there's the main entrance where you queue outside and you pay your cover charge and you get in. And then there's the door, the back door, the one that goes down the side alley, where you have steal or borrow your way in there. You have to hustle, whether you are the employee, whether you are the person pretending to be a cleaner, because that's how you get in. You just have to sometimes be inventive about exactly which levers you're pulling to get in. And then through the 3 years that I was at Stellenbosch and all the jobs that I did, all the side hustles that I managed up, I gained such worthwhile experience that then led to a TV opportunity in Joburg, which I moved to Joburg with my mom's Corolla, and studied at Wits postgrad while I was working when I was 21. And there again, I was paying my own fees. I qualified for a bursary in Stellenbosch for my postgrad, but I didn't qualify at Wits because at Wits had different tests, and I didn't fall into the group that they were willing to offer bursaries to. And so I had to work for that cash. And I still remember having these arguments with students because my expectations from the university as a client of theirs were very high. A premium to study there, and one of my classmates was angry at a computer not working. She was like, just chill out, just don't be so demanding. And I was like, you don't understand. You have a bursary. I am working for every cent that I'm paying to this university, and I value for money. The lab computers need to work.
Yes, definitely.
viruses from the USB sticks that go into these computers when I put it into my own. I don't have the cash to buy a new laptop. I've already had to pay for this one. So I totally relate with particularly that missing middle where
Yes.
you qualify for a bursary, or you qualify for a bursary that pays for your fees, but then you still have to do everything else. You still need data, phone, you still need transport. And so there are often students that just fall into that in between. And there is and the thing is that those students are often the ones that once they qualify and they come through this phase, they have a whistle to reinvest in education. I think because they identify with being that close and just not across the line. And also they're
Very
also
true.
Students who, as soon as they qualify and they start working, they have hustled their way through university to make ends meet, and they hustle their way through life. And so I think that as soon as you change one student who's almost there's chances from almost there to done deal, I'm into the working world, they tend to reinvest, and we keep making the circle bigger.
So that's what you just said now is actually very true. So one of the things that we talk a lot about at Phoenix is like paying it forward. So we encourage students who come onto the platform to pay it forward once they're in the working world, because like you said, they have gone through that journey, they've experienced it, and they know how it feels to almost be there, to be so close yet so far. And if they can help somebody else cross that bridge, then it's even better, it's even more amazing. So we love the fact that you are also a firm believer in paying it forward and encouraging people to pay it forward. So that's really great. And one of the people on the live, Nyasha, said when you were talking about your experience in varsity, she just said, imagine if you had Phoenix at the time, you know, if you had the option of Phoenix at the time. And speaking of at the time, I just want to ask you what you think your journey would have been like had COVID happened during your, like when you were still in tertiary. How do you think that would have affected your education journey?
I would probably have had to drop out. My sister and I talking about this because of the nature of my family's entire income. We were reliant on my dad's butchery, and so it's a shop and still find ways of supporting the people who worked for him. There would definitely not have been money to remain at university, and obviously the work that I was doing to support myself that was in clubs and in the hospitality sector. So none of my streams of income that I managed to eke out while I was a student, none of those casual jobs would have been paying. So I am the fact that if I was a second year student now, if I was a third year student now, I would have been so close to actually getting my degree, but so far from being able to complete it. And the problem is, once you fall out of education, once you have to start going out there looking for a way to pay the rent, and you start working full time, it's very easy to never go back, because as soon as you start opening up gaps in full-time employment, it's very hard to then return back to a small student town and take up education again full-time. I know that since I finished my honors year and my postgrad year, I was working and studying kind of 50-50. That was already very hard. I started working my first full-time job. I started before I even finished what is that? The long project at the end of your honors, and I just know it's a scriptie in Afrikaans.
It's fine. You can say scriptie. It's okay.
I was so busy writing that, and I was working 9 to 5 because I got a job opportunity before I graduated, and I decided that I would just write at night and over weekends and burn the midnight oil, but I couldn't let this job opportunity pass me by. And I still remember I couldn't go to my graduation because I was working. But I think even then it was very hard, and I was already graduated and I was doing a postgrad that I was feeling strongly about and that I was willing to pay, you know, hard, serious cash for. And even then it was very hard. If I was undergrad, it would have probably derailed not only my finances, but it would probably also have been very demotivating, because you've invested, you know, like a year or a year and a half or 2 years of your life into something, and now to have the bad luck of a pandemic of all things
Exactly.
is just nuts.
Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of our students are going through at the moment, because a lot of them, like you, use resources on campus, you know, like you were talking about the labs earlier, and how it's important for all the computers to be working so that you can do what you have gone there to do in the first place. So now, boom, pandemic, and you have to go home, but you're still expected to take part in online classes without the data, without the laptop, and some of them without food as well, because a lot of students received food on campus, you know. So that's what they're facing, and that's why we started CapTheGap at Phoenix, because we said there is this huge gap. There's already that gap, like we were talking about, the missing middle. There's already that gap, but then COVID came and created an even bigger gap. It created a digital one, which we are trying to solve with CapTheGap.
And I think the thing is, in South Africa, we're very aware of so many incredibly amazing feeding schemes and support organizations doing work. And the reason I tell people to support Phoenix and Phoenix students, particularly the CapTheGap campaign, is because we don't know how long this pandemic is going to be around for. At this stage, our horizon, maybe life returns to normal-ish at the end of the year, but who knows? I mean, Google has already told their working from home until June next year. So we also have to be very cognizant of the fact that this is a moving target in terms of the horizon. Like, we don't know when and to what extent life will return to normal even in 2021. But the thing is, if you're a final year student, if you're on the verge of graduating now, if we can just carry those students who are that close to completing their degrees and transitioning into the working world, if we can just carry them through the next few months, they can perhaps be the one breadwinner that supports a whole group of people back home, a family back home. They can really change so many lives just through completing one tertiary qualification. And that's why I'm saying this is the lever, this is the thing that you can do, this is the place where you can help, that have the biggest impact, the follow-on effect of having one student complete their degree in 2020 is probably, that's the maximum you can do.
Elma, yes, yes, like you said, that is the minimum you can do. And what is exciting is you can do it for as little as 67 Rand. So when you go to www.capthegapfund.org, you can donate as little as 67 Rand and have that effect, like you're saying. You can contribute towards a breadwinner with just 67 Rand on CapTheGap.
And I'm seeing so many of my followers and colleagues and people in the comments section here saying hi and tuning in from all over. 67 Rand in pounds is, that's £3.5. That's less than the price of a pint. It is, in dollars, it's also like $4, I think. So if you're not in South Africa, the scale of impact that you can have with what would in your currency be a relatively small amount of money is unthinkable.
It honestly is. And I love the fact that you said it's less than a pint. You know, that pint that you would want to have, you can contribute towards a student graduating, a student getting that extra step they need to open that door that's going to open doors for others. So like you said, Alma, it's a ripple effect. And with just that pint, imagine that pint, that 67 rand, making such a huge impact. And just, yes, I have no words for like what you've just said. Actually, I'm just taken aback. But yes, we encourage everybody who is tuned in to just donate to CapTheGap, and just make a difference in the lives of students. And Alma, your story has been especially amazing because it's what a lot of our students are going through. You know, we have what we call the hustle score at Phoenix for our students, which basically measures the amount of hustle that you put out there into you working towards graduating debt free and getting funded. So it's you sharing your profile on social media and the likes. And from what you've just said, you would have been really high on our hustle score. Your level of hustle is just amazing, and we're really excited to have you as one of our champions. And we just want to say thank you for doing this live with us. Thank you so much for taking us on your journey. And thank you so much for encouraging people everywhere to donate to CapTheGap and to be part of the Phoenix community.
And if you are watching this and you're a student, just remember that you need to pick yourself. So before you go for a job interview for I don't know, whatever thing you are pitching yourself for, whatever opportunity you are holding thumbs for, even if you're just creating your profile on the Phoenix website, remember that you need to pick yourself. You cannot give what you do not have. If you do not have approval and support for yourself, and your own efforts and your belief in what you want to achieve with your degree, the difference you want to make in the world, you need to pick yourself. Imagine you're the coach of your own little team and you go, you have put in the work, you earned this, you own it, you can do this. If you pick yourself, and you have the conviction that the reason you're studying is meaningful and significant, not just to yourself, but also to the broader community around you, it will be so much easier for you to convince other people of that. I made that mistake for such a long time in my work, trying to earn the approval of a boss, trying to be selected, trying to qualify and meet, some sort of external standard. Make sure that you meet your own standard. Make sure that you would pick yourself for that opportunity. And if that happens inside of you, you start often doing the work. You start making the changes. In my case, you start telling the stories that you would have wanted to see. And as soon as you start doing that, you start attracting more people who goes, geez, this is actually some interesting work. And that has made the biggest difference for me, not only in my work, but also in how I feel about the stuff that I spend so much time on. If you feel like it's significant and it's meaningful and it's contributing to where you want to go, you are definitely going to be happier as well.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with you. And I hope our students are listening and taking this advice. I know I have. And I'm going to pick myself more from now on. So thank you for that. And I hope our students are listening. And potential funders, pick our students. Yes, pick our students. Bridge that digital divide. Go on to www.capthegapfund.org and just help a student. And who knows, you could be helping the next president. You could be contributing towards the next president of South Africa. You could be contributing towards the next Elma Smit. You never know.
Or the next Charlize Theron or the next Trevor.
Exactly. And the next Trevor Noah. You never know whose life you are impacting with that donation. Again, thank you so much, Elma. Thank you so much. And We look forward to more engagements with you, and we look forward to having you as our champion. And thank you once again.
Keep doing the good work.
Thank you. It's because of people like you that we can carry on doing the good work. So thank you, Elma.
Have a lovely weekend.
You too. Have a good one. Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.